Okay, Kimberly. There you are. Okay, I had to find you on my screen. I'd love for you to unmute and show your camera if you're okay, and go ahead and show us what your show and tell is.
Okay, so I am gonna walk away for just a second, as my kids were like, "Give me food." Um, so I'm gonna be quick, but okay. So one of the things that we had talked about before were doing emails, and so and I had looked at your lists that you have out, and I just felt like they weren't enough for a lot of our staff members and people that are having them. And so that idea just sparked me to do my own. And so then, which then came from a list that I created about 12 powerful accommodations in the classroom for deaf and hard of hearing kids. So I took that and I made each of one of those and expanded on those and made that into an email, which then I sent out weekly in the beginning of the school year. And then I took those because one of my goals was to create a Google Classroom for every kid. And then I did a student driven version of it and posted it to all the kids on Google Classroom.
Cool. Okay, so there is inside the toolbox for everybody, there is a whole list of emails, like a weekly email that you can send to teachers that it's kind of like a little teaching tip for working with students with hearing loss. So that is in the handouts section. And so Kimberly kind of modified that. Now, are you mailing, are you just emailing them every week, or did you schedule them? Did you put it in the calendar? How are you sending them?
So I did schedule them. I wanted to use the email system Boomerang, but there were too many recipients, so I had to do it through Google, which was fine because it wasn't really a recurring email, which I send out for other things. So I did that, and I just scheduled them. Like I drafted them and I scheduled them. Sometimes I was able to do a, like a bulk at a time, and then I had to like go back and fill in and keep going. But then since I had the base, I was able to take the base and put it in the chat GPT and say, summarize this into 3 sentences. And that was my now reminder during second semester to send out to teachers. So it's looping. And then I use chat GPT to make it a student driven, like couple liner.
Tell me what you mean by student driven. How did that change your message?
So like when it came to like say preferential seating and where they sit. And so oftentimes we are telling teachers it's really important for the kids to sit in front and blah blah blah. Or or strategically sit in places for them with their hearing. And so I just did that. I go, and for that, I think it came out to be more like, do you ever notice that it matters where you sit? It's really important where you sit. So think about that when you're in the classroom and how to make sure that you're sitting in a place that you can access the teacher and the board and other peers in your classroom. And so, and if you think you need to, here's a script so you can go ask the teacher. So I also had to come up with scripts so they had something that they could say as well, because we have microphones also in our classes, and oftentimes it's like that makes a big difference for our kids, but then teachers aren't using them, which I don't understand why. And then but I wanted them to have a voice, but oftentimes they need a script. And I have 504 kids as well that I don't necessarily sit down with. So I'm able to reach them as well with these messages so they can know, because even on their 504, it says for them to use their microphones or for the teachers' microphones.
Okay. Good. Well, and I love that you found you found that list, that email list, and then that kind of inspired you to, and you were able to modify it. That list was made to be modified. That's just kind of like your initial go-to, and then take it and modify it as it works for you and your students. So nice work. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah. And the next step is going over like their accommodations and what they need and creating like a blurb for that. Also for teachers and what that could look like. It's a future project. But oftentimes I feel like we put these accommodations and no one knows what it's supposed to look like. For some of them at least.
That's
But
true. Okay. Okay, thank you. All right, I'm going to, again, if you are just coming into the room, tonight is our show and tell night. And I have got, if you're interested in showing and telling, the goal is for you to point out something that that you have found inside your academy, your membership, and tell people what you are doing with it and how it's working for you so that other people can learn and be able to utilize that as well. So I have created a little name chooser thing. Um, and I'm going to share my screen.
You're
And
not supposed to be on.
I encourage you to turn your video on, but it's up to you. I love it when your video is on because otherwise I think sometimes I'm just talking to myself. It's always nice to know I'm not just talking to myself. Okay, so I've got our wheel of names here, and I think if you put your name in the chat and I don't have it on this wheel, let me know. And I'm just going to, well, and we're going to go ahead and spin. Here we go. And our next person for show and tell is Bridget.
So I'm so excited.
I'm so excited.
So
All right.
I love the lesson plans on there, specifically the auditory ones.
Which one?
And I love to send that with my families too, because I have some students that are home hospital. And sometimes, we can't go into the home because they're going through things medically,
Yeah.
So I love that I have something to send the families, especially over like breaks, like over winter break. That's something that I do. And I liked that they're themed too. I think there was like a winter one and a Halloween, like a fall one. So I liked that. I was able to make it like themed to like the break. And the families had something to do over the break. And just recently I'm going to start to send the parents the Friend Academy. So it was really
Great.
easy. There's
Yes.
like a nice brochure, and then I printed that out, and there's already like a pre-made email, like a letter, and I printed that and I just put my name, and then I signed it, and then I just made the link into a QR code as well, in
Love it.
case like they didn't want to like type it all out. They could just scan it and then make their account. So I'm very excited about that.
That's great. Have you had parents participate? Have you had parents sign up yet?
I sent them, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure how to check if they actually did it, and none of them have said anything to me yet. So I plan to send like a friendly reminder, like, "Hey, just wondering if you got this, and let me know how that's going."
When they sign up, they are asked, who's your DHH teacher? And if they put your name in, sometimes they don't know your name. Sometimes they just say, maybe they just say Bridget. And I'm like, oh, I'm not exactly sure which Bridget it is. But if they put your name down, then I will email you and I will let you know that they have signed up and then encourage them
Nice.
to come to a Tuesday tour. So all right. So you said you've been using the auditory training. Is it this one here inside of here, the ready to go skills, or is it
Yes,
following directions? Okay. Yes. So you send these home for families to practice at home and do.
yes. Specifically, also do like breaks, just
Yeah.
to give them something to do. And I think for me, I'm starting to make that a good time for me to send like a letter home as well.
Oh, I love
Like,
it.
over the break, please continue, and this is how you can continue their learning.
It's
So I
great.
really like that. And it's easy. That's my favorite part.
Easy is the secret sauce, isn't it? So yeah, so in here you can download the full activity. Hopefully this will come up. Did it come up on my share screen? Can you see the full thing? So then you can print it and you can send it home. And it even has it kind of just talks about like what to look for and that these are strategies for the kids. I love it. I love that you send that home with your students on breaks. Cool. Anybody have any questions for Bridget on how she's using that? All right. Let's go to, let me make sure I'm not missing anybody else who's adding. Okay, Lisa, I'm putting you on my wheel. All right, if anybody just joined, we are doing show and tell tonight. If you are interested in doing a show and tell, something that you are using inside the professional academy that has just been fun for you or that you have been excited about that you have used well or that you feel like went well, then put it in there and share out. And you have an opportunity to share. And then you also get entered to win 25 gift card, $25 Amazon gift card tonight just for sharing. And your name stays on the wheel because that's how I choose my gift card. So, all right, next person. Oh, Lisa, you're up.
There we go. Oh, hi.
Hey.
Sorry, I have audio in the beginning. That's why I was like, I didn't follow directions and know what I was doing. Um, I don't. Hopefully, nobody else has already shared it, but actually, I just looked it up today. And I think it's changed since I did the OG like Guess Who game
Oh,
where you have like the deaf role models and
yep.
whatnot. Because it definitely seems like it's pared down a bit from like the original board.
It has not pared down. It's gotten bigger, actually. It's gotten more. So it might look a little different, but there's actually more pictures on there.
For some reason, I couldn't find. Is it Braden? The the boy who raised all the money for hearing aids and
Yeah,
all
he's
that.
on there. He's there.
Huh. Okay,
I'll
I'll have
show
to look
you.
it back up because I was trying to find him today and I was talking about it with my student, and then I'm like, why is he not on the board? And
Oh, in
it
fact,
probably
yeah. Oh, yeah, he's there. And he actually,
okay.
I added to him. Uh-oh, you guys can see on my tabs. This is embarrassing. Um,
This is a
okay.
safe space. I have a million tabs open at any given time.
I actually didn't close down some of the ones that I was at, but okay, so Lisa is talking about this section. Actually, we just did a Tuesday tour. I did a tour of this section on Tuesday, and this the whole tour will be in YouTube tonight if it's not already there. This is inside the self-identity, social emotional section. And this is a guess who game. So if you're not familiar with this yet, it's super cute. It takes two players. One person is the picker and the other person is the guesser. So if you want to see how this works, take your phone right now and try this QR code. This is your QR code for the cards, and you can put it on your device. I also have a code for you to print them if you want. But then you click here for the game board, and this is what Lisa's talking about. And Lisa, here's Braden right here.
See, and that even looks different than the one that was on my desktop.
Oh,
Like
really?
it was like half as many kids, or not kids. It was half as many people. Halle Berry wasn't on there. There was a bunch of people that I was like, where are they? So who knows? Like
Were
you
you
also have
were you in the game board or were you just looking at the cover? Were you
I
just looking
think I
at this?
downloaded it because I wasn't sure if I was going to have internet and whatever because we had the state test this year, I
Okay.
mean this week, and they crapped the bed for lack of a better expression. Anybody who's in New York
Uh-oh.
State might know what's going on with the computer-based testing. We lost our state test Tuesday and Wednesday. It just froze, and so I was trying to download it because we were brainstorming stuff for Better Speech and Hearing Month is next month. So we were looking up some role models, and then I actually also looked up the database of books that feature deaf characters. So we looked up one of those, and I'm trying to get my principal to order it because there's one that I have to look up the title actually because there's so many that we looked over. Let me just look it up really quick. I think a little bit. Now I've got Braden in my head, and like it's My Life with Deafness.
Okay.
Because it features a little boy and like he plays sports and he has two dogs, and the little boy that we're thinking of in particular plays sports and he has two dogs, and just thought it would be really cute. I mean, he is a mainstream student, and the boy in the story like technically goes to a school for the deaf, but I don't feel like that's like a huge overarching theme or anything. It
Right.
has tips at the end for interacting with deaf people, and even like the accommodations like the flashing doorbell and just stuff like that. So, and honestly, I think it's going to be helpful even for him because his family is a little one minute they want to do like a deaf awareness event, and then when he leaves school he takes his hearing aids out and he's like hearing at home. So it's just interesting where they kind of vacillate all over the
You're
place. I'm
you're
like,
building that
okay,
identity from a whole
yeah.
inside out. Well, how you're describing the Guess Who, it sounds like this is when you log in to the section, but then you have to click on the game board. So I think you were just on the front page here. I don't think you actually clicked on the
Okay.
game
I
board.
thought I clicked on download here or whatever, but because I
And
know
I
that
don't have
interactive
there.
activities changed since it was very first like I was on the beta like way back when. So
Yeah,
I feel like
this one there isn't a download. Only the cards are download. And maybe that's what it is. Maybe I haven't updated the cards, the downloaded,
okay.
but the game board is. So just so people can see, here are lots of deaf or hard of hearing people. Cochlear implants are represented. Oral people are represented. Sign language, people who use both, deaf, blind, everybody is represented. And then inside each one, there is a lesson. And inside the lesson, actually, Lisa, this has expanded because Mr. Beast and Braden partnered together and gave out like 1 million hearing aids or something like that.
Oh, wow.
1,000 hearing aids with Mr. Beast.
See, and
And
I couldn't even get all of this to load, so I bet you it was just where I clicked because I think it was. I think did Kelsey originally, was she involved with?
yeah, yeah.
Yes. So whatever I clicked on had a little description thing and it had her name on it and it wasn't the interactive. I was like, where'd all the bios go? And so I must have clicked in the wrong place because I think you moved the download thing up to the top, right?
This
For
one
some
cannot be
things.
downloaded. This one you have to have. I think what you're
It's
talking
live. Okay.
about, but there's other inside the deaf identity section. There is this one right here, famous and notable deaf and hard of hearing.
That must be what I accidentally clicked on that's different.
So this is like a PowerPoint that you go through. Is that what
Oh, no, it wasn't that, but it was, yeah, I think I clicked on the download now as opposed to the live
like,
activity. And when I used it a couple years ago actually as well with pushed into his class and we did it live and like just kind of did like they got to pick somebody visually. Every kid in the class got to pick a different person and we guessed who it was, like, is it a boy, is it a girl, like asking those yes no questions like a traditional guess who, and
yeah,
then I just showed them the related clips or like
yeah,
relevant. You do have to
yeah,
screen it ahead of time because some of the things are longer than others, but
yes.
they loved it. It was great.
Great. And then I think the other thing you were mentioning was the list of deaf characters in literature.
Yes.
Okay. So we've got, you can click right on the section. It'll go kind of to these books depending on your age level. But in addition, there is a whole nother link that is to this is to somebody else's
That database, that's what
Google
I pulled
Doc.
up. Yeah.
Yeah. And this has an entire database of all kinds of book titles, and it gives you the title, the author, the description, the DHH character, the age range, the Lexile level, and then when it was added to the list. So, and then a spot for comments. And there are, oh my gosh, let's see. This is so nice because it just keeps growing. Where are we at here? Look at
Well, and it was just
I'm
so
on
helpful because not a lot of them are sorted by like the age group. And we were looking for a different book. So he's going to like kind of push into like the K through 2 classes. And then we wanted a different book for like 3 through 5. So we were trying to find one for each grade level. And it was so nice that they were sorted that way.
So you guys, I'm on number 261 and I'm only halfway down through this list here. So we've got 600 titles on here, and you can see that it is recently added as this week. So this is a great resource for you to find, and great for your students too, to like kind of look and see what to order. So this is in the section, again, we're in self-identity, social emotional, and this is the books with deaf or hard of hearing characters. Thanks for sharing, Lisa. Love it.
Thanks for compiling it all. He made it easy. I look like a hero. The speech pathologist was there and she's like, oh my God, what is that? And she's like, oh, I'm going to grab it. I'm like, it's kind of a membership exclusive thing. So, telling her all about the academy, but yeah,
Awesome.
she's
Well,
quite
let's bring
impressed.
her in. We want
Absolutely.
SLPs here too. All right, let me get back to my random wheel. Anybody who's volunteering whose name is not on this list? Just put your name in the chat if you don't see it, and it's supposed to be there. Oh, we already had Kimberly, so we're gonna keep going. Let's go again. Sharian.
Okay, there's so many things that I love about all of this. I love that there are handouts that you could send to parents to keep them informed. Um, for the older kids, there are things that are there for them. But what we've been doing the most, well, recently is the Shayla Boo book for my
Oh,
little. I love.
good. Are you off? Is anybody familiar with the Shayla Boo book inside of here? Oh, great. Okay. Tell me, how are you using Shayla Boo?
So it comes with a coloring book and activity book to go along with it. So I printed that out for all of my little ones, and they're learning the parts of their hearing aid, which I thought was above what they could do, but it's not because they're learning it. My little one came yesterday. She's 4, just turned 5, and she said, I went to the audiologist because I had to get a new ear hook because my ear hook cracked. I'm like, okay, that's why it's important for you to know the parts of your hearing aids. So I just love the Shayla Boo book
Oh,
and
I
all.
love it. All right, let me show everybody where Shayla Boo is. Let's see. All right, I'm gonna move this over here by my random name drawer so I can find you easily. Whoops. Okay, so Shayla Boo, if we go to my teaching toolbox, Shayla Boo, I believe, is under self-advocacy. Is that where she is?
Yes, I usually just search her and then I start it.
Yes, and that's so here she is. But yes, I'm glad that you said that because a lot of people don't notice this little magnifying glass up here.
Stephanie, I'm sorry. I'm not sure if it's just me, but I'm seeing the wheel of names. Is that just me?
Same here. No, same here.
Thank you for telling me. Let's check that.
Mm.
See, thanks for letting me know here. All right, sometimes people will send me something. They'll say, Stephanie, this link or whatever isn't working, and I'll be like, how long has this link not been working and nobody's told me? So anytime you see something, then please let me know that it's not right. Okay, so let me just show you what I just did here. Teaching toolbox, and Shayla Boo is under self-advocacy, but here is the magnifying glass. If you're ever looking for something, you can just search it. And once you have something, you can star it and you can keep it as your favorites. And then it just pops up right to the top of of your toolbox. Now it's separate. You star your trainings, you star your tools because they're separate sections. So you have to put your favorites for each one. But here's your favorite section. And now Shayla Boo is going to be up here because I just starred her. So Shayla Boo is a picture book, and it's a little story of Shayla. And she's adorable, and she goes to the audiologist, and she gets her hearing aids, but it's an interactive book. Shayla asks, like, do you wear hearing aids? And will you show me yours? And really cute. So and it comes with extended activities, coloring pages, and all kinds of things. And it is a hard copy. So, and actually the author is a Professional Academy member. It is, oh boy, here we go, Vilka. So Vilka Montaut from California. So it's always fun to have these people in our community. Love it, Sharon. Thank you. And isn't
Oh,
it so true that our kids they learn more than sometimes what we think that they can do, even doing the audiograms and stuff like that. Uh, by the way, if you do the IEP Goal Bank, there's a number of skills in there that under the IEP Goal Bank that will take you directly to Shayla Boo. And also in here, from Shayla Boo, there is an activity that's called Let's Go to the Audiologist. And it is right here. Learn some words you'll hear at the audiologist. And it's some of the pictures and stuff are from the Shayla Boo book. And you can go to the audiologist and kind of talks about some of these big words. And there is a activity to kind of help learn those words. And then there at the end is a matching game. So you can play matching with like the otoscope and with the audiogram and with the audiologist. So that is also kind of connected to Shayla Boo. Let's see when you come back. And then you've got, here's your memory game. So since the pictures are from Shayla, or some of them, then it's a nice way to connect that book as well.
Nice.
Awesome. Okay, let's go back to our name drawer. See if I can put that out over here. All right. Can you see the name drawer? Everybody sees that? Fantastic. Oops. Cameron, you're up. Are you still here?
I am. So,
Awesome.
yeah. Wow. Okay. I use a lot of activities from this, but I have to say one that I use with kindergartners all the way to high school is it's the edible ear, but I don't do an edible just because of allergies and things. So I use Play-Doh and I bring in 4 different colors. I do a chart of the ear first, like having them fill it out, or the little ones, we just go through all the parts. And then they see the picture and they get to make it in from the Play-Doh. And I have to say, I did not know how this would go, but everyone from my kindergartner to my high schoolers, they all loved it. They all just really had so much fun. And it surprised me. And then they knew the parts. And actually, one of my students just last week handed me a piece of paper and I said, what is this? He goes, look at it. He's in 8th grade. And he said, okay. And I looked and I said, oh my God, you drew all the parts of the ear. Like beautiful. Why did you do this? He goes, oh, well, when I learned it from Play-Doh, and then our science teacher asked us just to do something, make a picture that has to do with science. He goes, so I did my ear. So it was nice to see that it actually carried over
I love that.
as well. So that's one of my favorites. And I love the Google slideshow, because when I started this position in October, none of my kids they had no idea what unilateral meant or bilateral. They were like, oh, I don't even know my audiologist's name. And so having them like fill it out, knowing what their audiogram is, that's another one that I use kindergarten to high school, because I think they can all learn from that. So those are like 2 really great things that they all do. They all participate and they know.
I love it. Okay, so you can see my screen, right? We are talking about for everybody I'm going to show you how we do this magnifying glass, edible ear. And a lot of people use this edible ear as kind of an end of the year activity too. Like if you have a way that you can get students together, even if they're online, do it virtually, then kids like to kind of do this as well. And then if you can use the food, then you can eat the food afterwards and have a party. But they are making a little diagram of their ear using Play-Doh or food. And then you talk through it. Like this is where do you have your students talk through their hearing loss and where their hearing loss occurs?
Yes, I do. Yep.
So inside of here, there's a little video that you can use if you want. And awesome. I love that you use that. And then the other one that you're talking about is the What's My Hearing Loss slideshow. All right, let's find that one. That one is I'm pretty sure it's under self-advocacy. This one right here, What's My Hearing Loss?
Yep.
And so you have it, you make the copy of it, and then the students fill it out themselves and they identify all of these skills. Yep.
Exactly. And then I'll pull up their audiogram like on my phone, because I have all of their audiograms, because I have no idea what my hearing loss is. And so we talk about it and they plot it, and they just, by doing it, themselves, they learn so much more.
Oh, so much. And they kind of get into it, don't they?
Yeah.
I used to think it was something kind of an advanced skill. I thought reading audiograms was something that we would do like upper elementary, middle school, or high school. But how young have you done this activity with your students?
I actually done it with my kindergartners.
Yeah. Yep, that's what I've discovered is and this is cool. And you're saying that your students didn't know. Like this is who is your audiologist? What's your audiologist name? I love it.
They don't know. They're like, I don't know. My mom makes the appointments. I'm like, no, this is something you need to know. You need to know this information, and just explaining their hearing loss, because some of my kids don't even tell their friends.
Right. Yeah.
So
Interesting. Okay. Thanks for sharing. Oh, and this one does talk about the Bajas and cochlear implants and the anatomy of all of these things.
mhm.
Microphone. Okay. Cool. Thanks for sharing, Cameron. All right. Let's go back. Can you all see my wheel of names? I gotta make sure can you all hear when I do this? Can you hear I bet you can't hear the audio. In the audio, it's very cheery. Okay, so here we go. Who's next? Anybody left? I feel like Laura. This is perfect because Laura hasn't gone yet. There we go.
Hi, everybody. I just want to say I'm not going to go on video because I'm out sick today, and that's pretty scary. Um, so my favorite, well, I have a lot of favorites, so I'm not going to say my favorite, but one of the things that I've been using a lot, and I feel a little bit embarrassed because it's the Pragmatics Checklist um, by Mary McGinnis, which is kind of embarrassing because she was my teacher and she was big on this, and I kind of discovered it here because I had been kind of just trying to survive and creating my own stuff. And like, so I had been looking at that because a lot of the times some of the students come in and everybody, administration might, I mean, I advocate well for my students and I've gotten better at it. But right, they may be academically well. So they're like, okay, are you going to discharge them? Are you going, and one of the things that I've always noticed with a lot of students, even if they may be academically okay, their pragmatics are not on par with other students their age, typically developing peers. So I actually found the pragmatic checklist on here, and then I use it in combination with, let me see, the other document here. It's another checklist. Oh my gosh, and I had it here. Give me a minute. It'll come to me. It's I believe, oh, the Minnesota. Um,
The Minnesota compensatory skills lists or the expanded
um,
core curriculum.
hold on, I have it right here. Why isn't it? The Minnesota checklist, social skills
Ah,
checklist for, I think it's on here too. I'm pretty sure. I'm not sure about that. But the reason I like the other one is it kind of breaks it down. The pragmatic social list is shorter, but it kind of broken down in grades. But the reason I like the McGinnis one is because it just lists it all. And sometimes, as you guys all know, our kiddos may not develop the skills when it was the appropriate time, but we continue to work on them. So you can just check off the date and whether it's verbal or nonverbal and add the comments on the side. So I've used that a lot to kind of advocate and show, look, this is where they were, this is what we've been working on. And the teachers could usually tell a difference because I think that the sad thing about sometimes some teachers, and I get it. I'm not accusing anyone. It's like kind of they're like they're on par, but they're kind of weird. Like kids don't like them, or kids don't. They're just something funny about them. And I don't like those descriptions, but I'm kind of like, oh, funny like what? Ha ha ha, or funny like because I don't like that languaging. But it's that they're lacking some of the pragmatics and some kiddos, they just don't know, a lot of them don't know how to respond. And I know when I taught in the preschool, I had a little boy who would always kind of hit the others, but that was kind of his way of saying hi, right? So people just kind of pushed him back or they didn't like him. And he just didn't have the skills, right? And we had to explicitly teach him. So I like that. And the other thing I'm going to say, it's not an activity here, but one of the things that I find really valuable here is like meetings like this. It's not on there because even today, like I've been looking for stuff and sometimes I'm so rushed that I don't have time to look through everything. So I haven't gotten familiar. I've only been a member a year through everything, but either right now I've just started to think, oh my gosh, do I have to write my own book? Because I'm not finding what I need. And that Shayla Boo, I'm gonna use that. But when you pulled up the list of all the books, I saw something. I mean, I quickly glanced like my little ear, and I was like, oh my God. And I looked it up on Amazon because I have a student who has microtia and she just recently started kind of acting up. And I told the teacher I saw her and I said I didn't intervene because I wanted to see it play out. She's a very kind child, but she had been acting out. And I asked the teacher to please keep an eye. And then she reported to me, oh, the day before her behaviors, she usually has her hair down and she wore her hair up. And somebody just commented about her ear. They just said, oh, what's that? And so she just ignored them. And then afterwards, she started wearing a Band-Aid
Oh.
over her ear. And so I told her, I've been meaning to address that with her because she's in preschool. And I just found that book through your list, The Little Ears. So
Great.
yeah,
Good, good.
thank you.
So the pragmatic checklist that she's talking about, the McGinnis pragmatic checklist is right here. That was added this year. But this goes through especially, well, there's sorry, nonverbal and verbal skills and starts young and goes pretty old. And then the other one that she was talking about. Here we go. The other one that she was talking about is right here. This is the Minnesota Social Skills Checklist for deaf and hard of hearing students. So I am doing the same thing. I've got just some kids who they're very immature, right? And they don't realize it. They don't know the appropriate skills and they do have to really be taught. And this does go, so this is from pre-K all the way to high school. So fantastic. Good. And I agree, getting together with this group, I just personally love it myself. All right. Whoops. Let's see. We've got just a couple minutes left. I'm looking at my screen. Stephanie hasn't had a chance. And Madison, I didn't see your name on the list. And let's see, somebody said that they couldn't put the mic. Zakia doesn't have the mic. So Stephanie, did you have one to share?
I kind of have a variety. I wanted to say, I used the email tips a long time ago, and I took them and I took them apart and then redid them. And there's the preschool list, and then there's school age lists that are kind of general, no matter what, for just hearing loss. And then I do hearing assistive technology column, and then I have an interpreter column. And for the interpreter column, I based it on Ohio's, because I'm in Ohio guidelines.
I love it.
So
I love it.
then each week I match things up. So some people get 3 tips: hearing loss, equipment,
Okay.
interpreter. Some people get 1, some
Mhm.
people get 2. So I send out 6 different emails, and I just have a massive,
Cool.
I send it to all the team that I know of, and
Just
I
copy
get
paste. You
very,
got it set for yourself, and then you just copy paste them in, and then you can
yeah.
reuse. Great.
And
I-
so, and it's on a spreadsheet. So I just go, and then I keep track of where I am. I have them by weeks, up to 38 weeks.
oh,
So
great.
I keep track of that. And then if I get a kid who starts late, I'll start them on a different color on the week. And so I it
That's
gets it works. But the other thing that I really like about it is the minimal pairs
Ah, so here's the
because
36 emailable tips. Let me just show everybody that. So this is completely modifiable, which I love that you are modifying them to get started. So, and I love it. Okay, so then the minimal pairs, that one is again, I'll just use that's go in auditory training.
yeah, and that's great for little guys because the visual's right there and they like to click on it and you can just have some real fun with it and you can see how they're moving up.
Here we go. So
So,
we have this is the minimal pairs. There's 10
hmm
10 levels. 10 levels. I actually have been known to actually do some of these higher ones with my older students as well, but they can't see the pictures. I just say a word and they have to repeat it. But you've got, if you're not familiar with this, this goes, there's a hierarchy and you say a word, you sit behind the student or next to the student so they can't read your lips, and then you say a word and then they point to the picture or they repeat what you said. And
hmm
then at the very, very end, do you make it to the end where you can see all of the,
oh yeah.
sometimes it's hard to get to the end. There you go.
Well, it's not always, it's not like one session,
Right,
obviously, but
right.
yeah.
But
And
here's more
then
of an open set. So you've got, you say the word, they've got to find it in the picture and do that.
right,
Yeah.
right. And then so I've had lots of kids really enjoy that,
Good.
that. And then more recently, I've been using a lot of the transition stuff
Love it.
because it's just, it just, it also triggers me as like, oh, what have I not covered? I
Have
need to do
you
that.
used the goal bank? Have you looked at the audit proof goal bank for the transition?
Yeah, but it's that just came out. Most of them,
So
most of
all
them.
they're all tied. I like so I what I like I'll just show you how I like to do that because when you can just look at the very first just when you look at the lessons and activities, then it kind of gives you like the checklist of all the things that you want to accomplish and then the activities that it'll point you right to be able to accomplish those things. So it's a little bit of a shortcut sometimes if you're trying to figure out which where do I want to start or what do I want to do today? Because there's a lot of goodies inside the transition. Thank
Hmm
you, Stephanie. All right, everybody. I think we're going to have to continue next time because we didn't have time. And I see that Madison said that she could share even though she's driving. But I am going to draw, Madison, you still get your name in the wheel of names to participate, even if I didn't have a chance to call. I think Matt is Madison the only one who didn't get? I know that, whoops, I know Madison, I got to read your name right.
Zakaya.
Zakaya was going to share. She didn't have audio, but
She did share on the side, though, that she uses the self-advocacy assessments and goals, but couldn't turn on her mic.
perfect. Okay, so the self-advocacy assessments and goals is again in this audit proof IEP goal bank, maybe. And whoops. Oh boy. Here we go. That is in here for people. And again, you've got your assessment, you've got your checklist and your goals, or you've got your checklist from your checklist. It goes directly to the activities that you can use from this checklist. So you've got the skills that you're working on, and then here are the activities to either test it or teach it afterwards. So thank you. Okay, so I think I have everybody on this list. Are you guys ready for a drawing? I'm so thrilled that you came tonight and that you're sharing what you're loving about the academy. It helps me too. It helps me know just what's useful and helpful for you. Is there anybody's name that's not on here that should be on here? All right, let's do this. And the winner is Sherry. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Be emailing you a $25 gift card. So fun.
Yeah. Oh,
Now,
that's
I
fun.
do have one thing that I want to do a little show and tell. I'm kind of excited. This actually is not inside the professional academy, but I've just discovered it. Now, I think let me stop my screen share here. Kimberly was talking about the mic, right? And how the teachers never use it and all of that. We can all appreciate the issue. Everybody know what I'm talking about? Okay. So I have recently gotten in touch with the people who make this cue ball. Is anybody familiar with this product? I'm pretty excited because we're doing we're doing the online itinerant is having a face-to-face conference. We have one in the making. There is a small one that's happening next month with a small group of people who are just testing it out. And then we're going to do another one after that, after we get all the kinks out. This conference will be on a cruise ship. So keep your eyes open for this. Shirian is actually one of the people who's joining me. And this is a mic that you use to talk into, and it goes to your hearing aids or your speakers. So I just have a little portable speaker here. But this, you throw it. And when it throws, it gets muted and then it gets caught. And this is your talking ball. This is your talking stick. So that goes directly into the microphone. And then for the next person's turn, you toss it, they catch it, and then they talk into the microphone. Isn't that fun? So I just discovered it. We're going to be testing it out on our at our conference, and the makers of this, it's called Cue Ball, are sponsors of our conference. So we'll see. I mean, sometimes I get excited about things and it's it's no good. So we're gonna test it out. We're gonna see, and we will report back, right, Sharian? We'll let everybody know what we
Yeah.
think of it.
I like that idea because the older my kids get, they're rejecting the pass around mic because they think it's like too much.
Oh, yeah.
But that is a fun way to pass the mic.
Exactly. And it's a talking stick, right? Like you don't talk out of turn. You wait till you have the thing and it's fun, it's interactive, it's fun. You throw it. It doesn't like I was expecting some feedback. It bounces. I mean, it's like a Nerf. It's like a Nerf. So it kind of bounces, but there's no static. You can't hear any of that. It's been very easy. It's been very easy to try. So um stay tuned. We'll see how that works and what that looks like. All right, so Sharon, you watch your email. You'll be receiving a gift card from me and everybody. Thank you so much for joining tonight for the show and tell. We're going to do this again. Does that sound all right?
Sounds good.
All right, everybody,
Thank
have a great night, and we will see you next time.
Thank you.